Okay guys, so we're going to start our edit inspired by the work of Stephanie Jung. So you can see in the image here, her work which we're using as an example. We've got a lot of images of roughly the same scene from slightly different angles and then just moved and offset on top of each other. What you'd call multiple exposures. So the same picture sitting over the top of each other, a little bit transparent. So we're going to have a go at creating something like that today. So I'm going to click onto the image we're going to start to work with. We'll try this one to begin with. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the layer palette on the right hand side where I'm circling now with the mouse where it says layers, I'm going to click on this layer anywhere in this grey blue area here, but not on the image itself. Right click, duplicate layer, and that's going to copy the layer. Then I'm going to just change a layer mode to multiply and move the image slightly. Okay, the image is really dark at the moment, so I'm just going to adjust it by going to image adjustments and levels. I'm going to try and make it much brighter. So I'm going to take down the highlights and take up the highlights and the midtones in this direction so the whole image gets a lot lighter. And then just move that to a position where it's slightly offset from the original image. Okay, if there's any bits I don't want to show through, so for instance, it's getting really dark here on this right hand side, I'm going to add a layer mask. So we've done this before, but to recap, on that layer, so with that layer selected, I'm going to move down to the bottom of the layer window, click this symbol and add a layer mask. And you'll see like another white template appears to the right of it. Now, when we paint on this in black, the image will disappear. If we paint on it in white, it will come back through again. So I'm going to select the paintbrush tool from the left-hand side. I'm going to make sure the hardness is set down really low, so it's a soft brush. And then I'm just going to paint black, not on the layer, so you don't want the layer selected. You can see the white box around it now, but on the layer mask. And you should see the image get a little bit lighter in some areas now, where it was really dark. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that layer now. And then move it again to a different position. So up and to the right a little bit. I could experiment with other layer modes. So we could try it on soft light or on screen. Screen perhaps doesn't work so well. Soft light maybe. Color dodge. We'll try lighter color. Maybe darker color might work better. Yeah, so darker color works quite well. I'm going to click back on my background image, duplicate that now, and move it. And this time I'm going to try setting that to darker color. Works quite well, but it's perhaps a little bit too dark in some areas. So we'll delete that layer and we'll just duplicate this one again and move that into a different position. And click on that background layer, duplicate that one, move that into a different position. It might be worth, as you're experimenting with these, trying a few different layers, because different layer properties, so different blend modes, be it multiply or screen, will work better with different images. I'm going to duplicate the background again. So all we're going to do is keep duplicating the background and trying different layer blend modes. So I'm going to try screen this time again. And we'll move that. That kind of works quite well. It's lightening it a little bit. Okay, and we'll duplicate that layer. Maybe move that down. We could experiment with the opacity as well. So we could try lowering the opacity of it so it becomes a bit more transparent. And of course we could add a layer mask to that image, and where perhaps it's gone a bit bright, we could just paint out that area of the image using our paintbrush tool, a soft brush with a hardness right down, and black paint. I might add a layer mask to this layer and do the same thing. So it's a case of duplicating the background as many times as you like, experimenting with different layer modes. And you might, when you change some of those layer modes, might want to adjust the image a little bit, in particular by clicking on the image. Image adjustments, levels would be quite good in terms of either brightening the image or darkening the image. I would suggest brightening is probably going to work better. And finally, you can add a layer mask to each image and then paint in black the areas you want to disappear. Okay, I'd suggest experimenting with a range of your images, trying different techniques, different layer modes, altering the image slightly and offsetting it up to, I would say, probably like 6, maybe even 10 times per image. See what's starting to work best. It might get a bit confusing. Okay, I'm going to end the video now. If you open up the next tutorial, I'll go through the same thing but with a different image. Well done so far, guys.